Okay,
All right,
all right.
let's get a motion and a second to return to regular order. By Alderman Scannell, second by Alderman Galvin. All in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nay. I will go to, Alderman Weir, did you want to say something, or I'll go to Alderman Johnson? Okay. Alderman Johnson?
I would make a motion to amend the original motion to read as follows: to authorize staff to exercise our option with Associated Bank and negotiate in good faith for the purchase of real property at 227 North Quincy Street, 221 North Quincy Street, 624 to 626 Pine Street, 618 Pine Street, 616 Pine Street, and 605 Cherry Street, tax parcels 11-156, 11-157, 11-158, 11-159, 11-160, and 11-191, with terms and conditions to be defined at the time of the bond request, not to exceed 1.2 million within the 90-day option period.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. On that, any discussion here? Should I take a voice, you want to voice vote this? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? No. All right. Very good. Thank you. Clerk, let's continue.
Report of the Improvement and Service Committee, November 26, 2018.
All right, there's a motion by Alderman Scannell, second by Alderman Weary to approve Report L, the report of the Improvement and Service Committee. Are there any items in this report you wish to handle separately? Pardon me? Hearing none. Hearing none.
We need to fill out 8A. I thought, according to the minutes, someone from that committee was gonna fill out 8A. Lorraine needs to- Oh, okay, never mind.
All right, so seeing no lights, all in favor of that report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nays. Ayes have it. That report's been approved.
Report of the Protection and Policy Committee, November 26, 2018, 1 through 4 and 6 through 9.
All right, so we have a motion by Alderman Scannell, seconded by Alderman Stevens to approve the report of the Protection and Policy Committee, items 1 through 4 and 6 through 9. Any discussion here? All right, seeing no lights, all in favor of that report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nays. The ayes have it, and that has been approved.
Report of the Protection and Policy Committee granting operator licenses.
Motion to approve.
All right, there's a motion by Alderman Scannell, second by Alderman Stevens, to approve the report of the Protection Policy Committee, which grants the operating licenses. Are there any names, discussion on this report? Okay, seeing no lights, all in favor of that report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nays. The ayes have it, and report N has been approved.
Report of the Plan Commission, November 26, 2018.
All right, we have a motion by Alderman Scannell, second by Alderman Galvin, to approve the report of the Plan Commission, which is Report O in your packet. Anything you want to handle separately here? Hearing none, all in favor of that report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. That report's been approved.
Report of the Finance Committee, November 13, 2018.
All right, we have a motion by Alderman Scannell, second by Alderperson Kathy LaFave, to approve the report of the Finance Committee from the November 13th meeting. Are there any items in this report you wish to handle separately? Hearing none, all in favor of that report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and that report has been approved.
Report of the Park Committee, November 28, 2018.
All right, we have a motion by Alderman
Second.
Scannell, second by Alderman Stoyer, to approve the report of the Park Committee of November 28th. Any items under this report you wish to handle separately? Hearing none, all in favor of that report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Report Q, the report of the Park Committee has been approved.
Report of the Personnel Committee, November 13, 2018, and November 27, 2018.
All right, so there's a motion by Alderman Scannell that was seconded by Alderperson LaFave to approve the report of the Personnel Committee for both meetings, November 13th as well as November 27th. Are there any items in this report you wish to handle separately? Hearing none, all in favor of that report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and that report's been approved.
Report of the Economic Development Authority, November 26, 2018.
Motion to approve.
There's a motion by Alderman Scannell, second by Alderman Craig Stevens. Discussion on this item? All right, seeing no lights, all in favor of that report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nays. Ayes have it. Report's been approved.
Report of the Public Arts Commission, November 28, 2018.
Approve.
All right, there's a motion by Alderman Scannell. Second by Alderperson Dorff to approve Report T, the report of the Public Arts Commission. Any items here you wish to handle separately? Hearing none, all in favor of that report, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those opposed, nays. Ayes have it, that report's been approved.
Report of the Sustainability Commission, November 1st,
Motion
2018.
to approve.
All right, we have a motion by Alderman Scannell, second by Alderman Galvin, to approve the report of the Sustainability Commission for their meeting held on November 1st. Any items under this report you wish to handle separately? Hearing none, all in favor of that report, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those opposed, nays. Ayes have it, that report's been approved.
Report of the Traffic, Bicycle, and Pedestrian Commission, November 19th, 2018.
All right, there's a motion by Alderman Scannell, now seconded by Alderman Craig Stevens, to approve report item V, the report of the Traffic, Bicycle, and Pedestrian Commission meeting of November 19th. Are there any items in this report you wish to handle separately? Hearing none, all in favor of that report, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, and that report's been approved.
Report of the Ethics Committee, November 20th, 2018.
All right, there's a motion by Alderman Scannell, seconded by Alderman Galvin. Any discussion here? What, yeah, there's no report. Just want to hit your lights on this. Alderman Weary.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't know if we could perhaps hear from our lawyer or explain exactly how we got to this point and what this means tonight.
All right.
I will defer this to our outside counsel. I believe he is here, Attorney Burns, who was hired to represent the Ethics Board as the City Attorney's Office was conflicted out.
Mr. Burns?
Thank you, Your Honor. I am here on behalf of my law partner, James Kalney, who has primarily been working with the Ethics Board on this matter, which is chaired by Attorney Bill Vandycastle, who is here as well if you have questions in that regard. Basically, this matter has been brought before the council by report of the Ethics Board as a result of the withdrawal of the complaint that was previously filed by Alderperson Dorff. That complaint has been withdrawn. The last meeting of the Ethics Board then reports this matter back to the council, and the council has on its agenda to dismiss the proceeding with prejudice for failure of prosecution as stated in the withdrawal that was submitted by Alderperson Dorff. Basically, the status of this at this point is with a complaint withdrawn. The board has no authority to take any further action. There's no jurisdiction at this time because there's no complaint pending. And also, in addition, the code is written to apply to elected officials. The subject of the complaint, Mr. Zima, is not an elected official currently. So the ultimate remedy that's available to, by way of action of the board and potentially ultimately of the city council for removal from office is also unavailable because the subject again is not an elected official and the code applies to elected officials. So under that scenario, under that sequence of events, the matter would properly be ready for dismissal as stated on the agenda, and there's no further proceeding before the board pending. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney.
I do have a question, thanks. Thank you, Mr. Burns. A couple questions. Now, the city council did send this back to committee because they felt that the accused should have the ability to have their say and clear their name. Now, by withdrawing the complaint, I guess, doesn't that circumvent what we're trying to do as a council?
Well, it's not really possible to have a hearing with only one party, and without a complainant, there wouldn't be the ability to conduct a hearing, and so as a result, there is not a necessity to proceed with the hearing, and there would be an inability to proceed with the hearing without a complainant. It's similar, I guess you could draw an analogy to when charges are filed and a district attorney drops the charges, dismisses the case, you don't go ahead and have a criminal trial because there's no one prosecuting the case at that point. And it'd be similar circumstances here, Alderperson Ware.
So I guess it's a clever way, really, once the damage is done, to pull out of it and not allow the other side to give their story.
The procedure requires a complaint
I know.
and a
I
hearing if the
understand.
board proceeds. In this case, there's no complaint. The board isn't empowered to do anything differently.
Mr. Burns, what are your and your partner's expenses billed to date?
I can't answer that, Alderperson Ware. I haven't
Don't we have-
I'll ask her
brought
attorney later.
any invoices to that.
Why, is that a secret?
No,
Okay,
oh, no,
okay. All right, I appreciate it, thanks. That's all I have right now.
absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely
Just asking
not.
a question, Randy, calm down.
Nope. He'd have the right to ask that question.
Right, I'm not saying he doesn't.
Just wanna know how much
Okay,
I'm up for,
right.
for something that was
Okay, hang on.
ultimately pulled.
Yep.
Spent a lot of
Alderperson,
money on
yep.
nothing.
Alderperson LaFave. For the attorney, do you have questions for?
No.
Okay, I want
Okay.
you to stay, but thank you.
Okay. No, my concern is the way, oh, I'm sorry.
It's just
Oh.
for question, just for question.
Oh, just for
I
question,
just said
so I'll wait. Okay.
Alderman Galvin, questions?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Burns, if counsel, if Alderdorf had not withdrawn her complaint, and this case had gone forward with the recommendation from your firm that we no longer had jurisdiction, does that open the city up? I mean, to me, it seems much like you talked about the DA charging someone, and if the district attorney realized after a while something happens and he does not have jurisdiction, but he chose to go ahead and prosecute that case, would it not open the district attorney up for liability, possibly legal ramifications?
I think there would be legal questions that would arise from that kind of a proceeding. I can't really opine at this point, but as you said, the opinion from Mr. Kelly as counsel to the board was that once Mr. Zima left office, there was not jurisdiction to proceed any further. And so the board to proceed further and to potentially refer the matter on to the council and for the council to act would, in our opinion, be acting without jurisdiction because the code is written and intended to apply to elected officials. And if someone is not an elected official, the ability to impose sanctions, in our view, would no longer be present.
Thank you.
You want to go back? Are there any questions for Mr. Burns, Attorney Burns? Okay, thank you. You have the floor.
Thank you. Now I'll pose my question. What are the current expenses billed to date?
I don't have the bill to date expenses.
Or the last one?
Trying to review my notes from a meeting in July when the city attorney's office was asking for additional funds from contingency. I'm not sure if,
Okay, move your mic over because I think it's
oh,
important that.
sorry, yep, I keep forgetting to do that. I would be guessing at this point, so I don't want to state. I'm not sure if, Director Ellenbacher would have access to that, what the legal bills would be at this point, but I do not have that information. Not to date.
Are we over $10,000?
Yes, so based on the notes that I have, so this is from the council meeting in June, when we were asking for additional funds from out of contingency because our legal expenses budget was being depleted. At that point, we had costs of $11,134 in legal fees and $725 in court reporter costs. So that was June of 2018.
So about 11,000 as of June. Give or take. That's all I have right now, thanks.
All right, thank you. Alderperson LaFave. So we're discussing item W.
what I would like to state, I don't know how to write the request up. I'll think about it and put it in for our next council meeting. I think we need to go through the whole ethics committee, how we're handling this. I don't think it was worded right. I feel that if somebody can be accused of an ethics or have an ethics complaint, and they know they're innocent or whatever, and it comes up for election and you lose, that still sits there. It's in the news. People, yes, it does. It sits in there, because then when you're out of office, it's null and void. I mean, there's no recourse, there's nothing, so you just dismiss it. Or the person who complains withdraws it. I think a person has a right to defend themselves, and this is because it goes out in public. So I just think we need to work this out a little bit better. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Scannell?
Thank you, Your Honor. Just two things. One, if we could eventually get a report on the total amount we spent and how much we've spent since we took the vote to keep pursuing this. I would like to know the difference between the two. And secondly, we have no jurisdiction. So the recourse here for both the plaintiffs and the accused is to go to civil court. We don't have jurisdiction, but there are other courts. If they really feel strongly about it, they can go to civil court. Either one. So this is just ridiculous. We're out of our jurisdiction. And as far as the ethics code, we should be getting that back, I would think, pretty soon. It's in my committee. We sent it out to get looked over, I don't know. So that should be coming back pretty soon to my committee, and we can discuss that then.
Thank you.
Yeah, it'll-
Alderman Weary?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was just going to piggyback on Alderman Scannell. We did get the recommendations back from city ethics that we requested. And hopefully we can get that back on your committee maybe in January. Legal can work up some changes. There were a fair amount of changes, I would say, that based on their knowledge. I would make a motion to open the floor for interested parties.
Right, so we have a motion, a second, to open the floor to hear from interested parties. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
4-3. Use the board.
Don't we always open the floor?
No.
Okay. Only when we want to.
We're gonna take a, I wanna, yours aren't
Next
good.
time something you want, open the floor.
Just, all right, come on, just vote. You wanna open the floor
We always
or
open the
not?
floor.
Right, just, is your light working, Alderperson Dorp? Okay, how do you wanna vote? Just. Yes or no? No. Okay, it's gonna pass, that is 8-3. Okay. So the floor is now open to hear from interested parties. Is there anyone here who would like to speak to this specific item? And this is report W, is to dismiss with prejudice for failure of prosecution as stated in the withdrawal. If you use the podium and state your name and address, hold your comments to 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is David Bartokowski. I've been a businessman here in Green Bay for over 20 years now. And I have properties here on Cedar Street and in the Broadway District. And my councilman was Guy Zima at the time. What I have experienced here is not something that I wish to pass on to my children. It is, what I see here is a planned dissection and execution of someone's soul and career. A lot of stuff I know Mr. Zima personally and politically as well. To me, this is the equivalent of putting somebody on the back of a horse on a rope and dragging him down the middle of the street. I don't know why. I'm an outsider. I've lived in Los Angeles most of my life. I've only resided here in Green Bay for 20 years. But I cannot understand why somebody who has given most of his life to, 40 years of his life, to the public service here, can be so slandered and dragged down that street on a regular basis. I read an article that the Press-Gazette wrote probably 10, 12 years ago, and it was 3 pages of negative reviews on Mr. Zima. And I scratched my head. I said, how does somebody serve people for 40 years and continue to be revoted in, and you could not find anybody in the city of Green Bay to say anything good about him? So I called up the editor and spoke directly to him, and I said, you couldn't find 2 or 3 people in the city of Green Bay to say anything good about Mr. Zima. And he laughed, and he says, well, if you want to say anything good about him, you can write it up and keep it to 250 words. I said, but yet you just did an article, 3 pages, on this man and drug him down the middle of the street. I think you have a duty here to allow him to address some of these issues. I think it's your duty to make sure that happens, that we serve justice here, that we allow him to speak on those things that he was accused of. And I'm sure most of us sitting in this room today is not proud of things that have done in the past. I can't understand why every time he runs for office that they bring up this hot dog thing that he did when he was in his 20s. We've all made mistakes in life. I don't think there's anybody here that hasn't. And we're probably not proud of it, including myself. But I have been forgiven. I think you all have been forgiven, and we go on. They don't continue to slander you for 40 years. I don't understand. I know when you're in public office, I guess that's part of the, and it seems to be worse and worse every year. When you're in public office, now you're allowed to say anything or tweet anything, and there's no repercussion from it. We do not respect each other anymore. But tonight, I'm asking that you allow this man here to at least publicly defend accusations that were brought upon him during an election. And it always seems that all of this unless we're all in a coma, it seems like every time he does run for office, all this stuff surfaces again. And I don't understand that. That's just, it's petty. I think it should be against the law to do that, to slander somebody publicly like that. So that's what I'm doing here tonight. And if you have any questions, let me know, but I think this is the wrong thing to do to somebody like that. He has served this city for 40 years. We might not agree, and we don't agree with each other, but that's the beauty of it. We can sit and we can discuss things and hash it out. This is why we have city council. This is why we have Mayor Schmidt. He's been a great mayor. But we got to allow this. We have to be able to allow him to speak on behalf of those accusations. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, Dave. Mr. Dave, could you just answer a question for the alderman? Hang on, Randy. Hang on. Go ahead.
You brought up a point, and I'm wondering, you do realize that the committee met twice before the election, and it could have been resolved before the election, and both times they put it off to accommodate Alder Zima, and that he was fine with that, and in fact requested that this could have been resolved before the election. Did you know that?
Yeah, I was aware of that.
Okay, that's all I wanted to make.
But wait a minute,
Go
don't
ahead,
censor me now, but.
No.
Yeah, I was aware of this, but why did it happen during his election? Why was any of this brought up during the election? You know, why don't we celebrate we don't celebrate enough of your sacrifices and your contributions to the city. But to election time, we start tearing people up, left and right.
Thank
I
you. Right.
can't understand why every time he's up for election, this stuff comes out. I don't get it. And what I don't understand is this city should be accommodating him for 40 years of his life. And instead it's being torn down. I'm not saying he's perfect, and none of us are perfect. And sometimes he puts his foot in his mouth. I understand those things. None of us is perfect, though. And we say things out of context sometimes, and they're taken wrong. But we don't drag people down the middle of the street. That is wrong.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak to this item?
Yeah, I tell you, sitting here tonight, I miss being here. I just, all kinds of things I felt like saying, but I congratulate you all on your discussions here tonight. But,
For the record, just,
my name is Guy Zum. I live at 1121 12th Avenue, Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's all just a little too convenient. Make accusations. Yes, the hearing was delayed twice. The first time because the committee didn't have a quorum, because two people excused themselves for conflicts. The second one, which they did a week later, my attorney was out of the country. So I just asked for a delay for a chance to prepare and be represented. Of course, little basic necessities like that, I guess, don't mean that much to some people. They just want to keep smearing you. And of course, I don't think you have to accept her withdrawal of her charge. There's really something inherently wrong with expending the taxpayers' money to stage these hearings. And then, of course, this body here twice sent it back and said, hey, make a judgment about it. But then we're talking about the costs. Oh, there was no problem with the cost of bringing it, but the cost to finalize it is too much. What about, if there's a financial responsibility, where's the moral responsibility? Now, do I think you guys can do anything in the code that, to me, that is laid out? Of course, I've always thought the code was as bogus as could be. I never thought it had any constitutionality to it at all. But you really couldn't fine me $500. You couldn't reprimand me or something like that. But you could make judgment. And of course, I feel I have a right to judgment. I think if Ms. Dorf wants to withdraw, because that's all very convenient, when everything else didn't work, they tried to reconsider it, they tried to end it, and this council, in their wisdom, said, hey, there's a right to clear your name, or to at least have a say-so about it. And, whether you can punish me with anything financial or not is beside the point. The committee, they're not prosecuting me. They're taking information and sending what they think about it to you, and you people make the judgment later. And I think you have a right, whether you can punish me because I'm not on the council anymore, is irrelevant. But you can decide whether you agree with the charges or you disagree with the charges. And then I either stand judged or I'm declared innocent. All anybody asks for is a chance to hear the charges and defend the charges. And you people decide later on what you think about it. And I tell you, if somebody wants to put the expense forward, and even though this council sent it back, then you come with the little convenience that, oh, well, we'll just withdraw it because they don't really want to hear this, then maybe Ms. Dorf, Alderman Dorf, maybe should have to pay the expenses that she's created, because she's the only one withdrawing it. This council didn't withdraw it. I tell you,
Right.
the action of filing a complaint creates a great suspicion in the community. And leaving it unadjudicated or to be withdrawn is the equivalent of what Mr. Bartkowski said, dragging somebody through the street and leaving them for dead, and we just leave it at that.
Right. Thank you.
The council referred this back to the ethics board twice. Evidently, the city doesn't want to try it. But it's not a trial. It's a chance for judgment, positive or negative. And you are the final arbitrators, whether you agree with the charges or whether you think the person who has been charged is innocent of those charges. And the
All right, you're at
community,
5
there is a
minutes.
larger interest.
Yep.
There's a community interest and there's a basic right of a person who's accused to have their day in court.
All right,
And
thank
this
you.
manipulation to take away that basic, fundamental fairness that I think all people in the United States of America strive for
Right.
is really being injustice.
All right, thank you. All right,
I think you can reject the withdrawal and go forward, or let her pay the bill.
all right. Oh, anyone else? Hang on.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and council members. My name is Bill Vandecastle. I'm the chair of the Ethics Board. I wanted to address a couple of points here that I think are significant in this consideration. The November 20th meeting of the Ethics Board was specifically to consider the withdrawal by Alderdorf of her complaint from earlier this year. That was the only purpose of the meeting. It was the only substantive issue on the agenda. Mr. Zimmer was present. Alderdorf notified us prior to the meeting that she wouldn't be there because she had withdrawn her complaint and essentially was done at that point. Mr. Zimmer did address the board. He was given an opportunity at length to discuss with the board why he was there and what his concerns were. During the course of that, and he repeated many of the things that he said here tonight, but we asked him, he was on the council when this ethics code was approved and adopted, if he could point us to any provision in the city's ethics code, code of conduct for elected officials, that gave the ethics board the authority to compel someone to prosecute a complaint that was once filed. He could not. And I understand, because I couldn't either. I couldn't find it. Mr. Kelly couldn't find it. There's simply no authority in the code of conduct for us to compel somebody to bring a case if they've decided to drop it. There are many reasons discussed here for why it was dropped, but it was dropped. The ethics board, in the course of this process, has had 8 meetings to deal with this. At no time in any one of those meetings has anybody ever been sworn in. No one's ever testified. No one's ever offered any evidence. So there is no evidence in the record of anything other than the complaint. That's all that was filed in here. So there's never been a hearing. There's never been anything that's taken place to present evidence on which we could act. So it's not like one side was given the chance to present their case and then it was dropped so that the other side couldn't respond. Nobody put any case on. So all those hearings were all procedural. We spent, I don't know how many hours on this dealing with procedural issues over the last year. So there is no evidence in the record for us to act upon. Lastly, I want to explain why it's taken us so long to get to this point. We took on your task. You referred back to us to conduct a hearing. We were in the process of doing that, but the council acted on this initially back in June and then again, I think in July or early August. And again, this wasn't scheduled until November 20th. The reason for that delay was that we didn't have a quorum. At 1st of May, several of the prior members of the Ethics Board, their appointments expired, and there was no, they weren't reappointed. I think one of them withdrew and indicated he did not want to serve on that board anymore. And so from the end of August, or the middle of August, until I believe the early part of October or late September, there was not enough members on that board to constitute a quorum. You did approve the appointment of a new member, and once that was confirmed and she was seated, we were in the process of scheduling the hearing that you requested when Alder Dorf filed her motion or letter or petition to withdraw. So we were in the process of carrying out your directives, but without a prosecuting party, we were left with no action that could be taken because there was no evidence presented. We couldn't act on anything. And if nobody's going to present any evidence, simply at a loss as to what we could have done, if anything. So we are here today because of that. Unfortunately, we didn't have our minutes approved yet to present to you tonight, but that's essentially what happened. Ms. Dorf was not at the hearing or at the meeting. Mr. Zimmer was. He was provided an opportunity to speak. He did so. But again, without a complaint, without any evidence in the record, there was nothing for us to do,
Right.
which brings us to this point. Thank you.
All right. Alderman Galvin, do you have a question for Bill? No. Okay. Questions? All right, thank you. Oh, all right.
Thank you, Mr. Van de Kessel. The meeting was November 20th, and it's December 4th, so 2 weeks, but we don't have the minutes yet? I mean, when do you think they'll be?
Well, the minutes are ready. We're trying to schedule a meeting with the
Okay.
commission or
So
the board to get
they're
back.
available publicly, I think.
I believe so.
They're published.
All right, that's what I wanted to make sure, okay. No, that's all I have, thanks.
Anybody else wish to speak to this? Anybody else? Anybody else? All right, motion to return to regular by Craig Stevens, second by Alderman Mark Stoyer. All in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye. And those opposed, nays. Ayes have it. We're back to regular order. Alderman Weir, I think you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess I would like to ask our city attorney or the acting representative, whomever, must we accept the withdrawal?
That would be a question for, that would be a
Mr.
question
Burns?
for Attorney Burns, correct?
All right, we don't have to open the floor for,
No.
so, Bob, Attorney Burns, Dilderman is asking, you can ask him.
Oh, do we have to accept the withdrawal? Could we say, the council feels it's in the best interest that this be sent all the way through, and we don't accept the withdrawal?
Alderperson Ware, I think the difficulty with that is, I think Attorney Van de Kessel and I would both respond, we don't know how to do that. It doesn't seem as if there's any procedural mechanism available for the Ethics Board to conduct some proceeding without a complaint. The entire process is designed to follow through on complaints that are filed either by citizens or city officials, and without a complaint, there is no vehicle to move forward.
But isn't there two things, but you're not gonna hear a case of a citizen? What about that it's not an elected official?
Well, that's the other point I mentioned earlier, Mr. Mayor, is
He's answering his question. His question.
No, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I think you're saying, I just wanna think through what you're saying. If you say, look, we don't accept the complaint, they don't have authority anyway. Anyway, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, I think when we put this in place, we knew there were a lot of unanswered questions, a
Right.
lot of what ifs. So I don't think it's that we can't do it, it's maybe we didn't spell it out. So there's a way, if we want. It's possible. Anything's possible. We didn't spell it out. We shouldn't leave people hanging.
Well,
Figure
it
of
may be
speech.
when you revisit your code, you may want to consider some sort of window when complaints can't be filed prior to an election or something like that. but that's not something the Ethics Board has any control over. From the Ethics Board perspective, that board can operate without a complaint. And secondarily, as the mayor said, and as our prior opinion said to the board, even if there was a complaint, we're of the opinion the board doesn't have jurisdiction if the subject of that complaint is not an elected official, because the code applies only to elected officials.
And I can see where you're coming from, that, the reading of the text, defines what you can and can't do, but you can probably also, as a human, see the other side. That you have no chance to defend yourself when it's been a public, so very public, in the paper and in the news and people going on. I'm,
Sorry.
I don't go
Well,
crazy
no, Bob's
when
up
you
here,
talk,
but,
Randy.
okay, go ahead, Alderman, I'm sorry,
My
yeah,
apologies.
yeah, okay.
You can see where maybe we should change it to allow closure.
Well, I appreciate that the question acknowledges that lawyers can be humans. That's probably.
Well,
He didn't say that.
oh, yeah. I take it back.
All right,
That, in all seriousness though, Alderperson Wary, that issue is outside the board's scope of authority or ability. It really comes down, I think, to the issues of the ability to move forward without a complaint doesn't exist, and we also believe the jurisdiction doesn't exist if the subject isn't an elected official, and from the board's perspective, that's all we can really say.
Appreciate your time. Thank you, Mr. Burns.
Thank you.
okay, Bob, go ahead, Alderman Galvin.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Burns, given the fact that legally, and I don't know why some people in this council want us to violate the law, but legally we have no jurisdiction, okay, we have no complaint. Does not Mr. Zima have other legal avenues open to him if he wants to clear his name, if he wants to pursue this?
Well, I can't advise Mr. Zima, obviously.
I understand.
But I don't have any, so I don't have any recommendation or suggestion there, but that would totally be up to him to pursue and to review and have his counsel research. And whether there is or isn't, I'm not in a position to opine on that, because I can't advise Mr. Zima. My obligation is to advise the Ethics Board.
Okay, I guess if we were to take Mr. Zima out of this, and I'm not asking for a legal opinion, but there are other courts that in something similar to this, someone could potentially pursue it, could they not?
I can't really, again, opine on what other remedies are available to someone hypothetically, but that there is nothing that would prevent Mr. Zima from consulting his legal counsel and pursuing whatever action they decided was appropriate, if any.
All right, thank you.
Anything else for Bob? All right, thank you. You still have the floor. Oop, hang on, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm not certain there's anything that we can do at this point. There should be. And that probably was our our miss at the beginning, and I'm hoping when it comes back to committee, we can look at that, because it's a sad spot we're in. It's a very faulty ordinance and policy right now. I think we all would admit that, the review, and I saw a draft of it from the person who reviewed it, there's a lot of corrections and deletions and surprises. They were surprised things were in there, so, this has to be a learning point, and I hope we can correct this, because you shouldn't be able to be, as Mr. Bartolowski said, drugged through the streets and not have your chance to defend yourself. So, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so there's a motion and a second motion by Alderman Scannell, second by Alderman Galvin to approve Report W. All in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye. Yep. Dismissing, it's item one, it's to dismiss with prejudice for failure of prosecution as stated, so it's going away, it's gone. Well, it's the same thing as receive and place on file. All right, sorry. All right, so the motion is second, report W. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. All right, use the board. I vote dismisses it. No, but- All right, and that motion passes, vote 8-3. Okay, clerk?
Receive and place on file municipal court report for October 2018.
Motion by Alderperson Dorf, second by Alderman Nicholson, to receive and place on file municipal court, October 18th. Any discussion here? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. And those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Report X has been approved.
We're on to resolutions. You may under suspension of the rules adopt resolutions 1 through 8 together with one roll call vote.
All right, there's a motion by Alderman Scannell, second by Alderman Craig Stevens to suspend the rules for that purpose. All in favor of suspension, please signify by saying aye. And those opposed, nays, ayes have it. So motion to adopt 1 through 8. Items 1 through 8. All right, seconded by, those motion was by Alderman Scannell, seconded by Alderperson Corpus Dast. You please use the board on this. These are, this is report Y, resolutions 1 through 8. We already did 9. Okay, I'll do that now. All right, so that passes unanimously. The resolution recognizing the neighborhood association, which we did earlier, needs to be recorded. So if you could please use the board on this. This is Resolution 9, which, again, was a recognition of the old Preble Neighborhood Association. This board keeps going out. It's a good system you guys got. Okay, how'd it go? This passed. All right, thank you. That passes unanimously. Oh, just Bill, I mean, did you? Okay, Alderman Nicholson, I just didn't get your vote. This is the Preble Neighborhood Association? Oh, okay. Yes, I'm sensing that. Come on, man, we're almost done. Okay, that passed unanimously. Thanks for that.
We're on to referral of petitions and communications.
All right, we're on to referral of petitions and communications. Anything you guys want to put in here? I don't see any lights, okay?
I got one.
Okay, Alderman Stoyer.
Hey, calm down.
Alderman Stoyer.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. This one's the parks. It's to look at the feasibility of utilizing Hinisra Park as a fat tire winter bike destination. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just wait, hang on, Andy. We got first readings we got to do. We have the first readings. I can do this on a voice vote. No. We can do, suspend the rules. All right, there's a motion by Alderman Scannell, second by Alderman Nicholson to suspend the rules to take the first reading ordinances under one roll call vote. All in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those opposed, nays. Entertain a motion to advance to the second and final reading by Alderman Scannell, second by Alderman Nicholson. All in favor of advancement, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those opposed, nays. The Happy New Year one, okay, by Alderman Nicholson, by Alder Corpus Dast. Motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All right. And those opposed, nays. Ayes have it. Happy New Year, you guys. We'll see you on January 15th. January 15th.
I want to get out of the meeting here. Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Can't you go back to the original meeting and get out? Yep.